Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenhead, Jerusalem psychotherapist. This week's Torah and Psychology post of Pasha's Lecha is again going to continue to relate to the Pasha and how we can learn out from this for our current situation with the war in Israel. And it's going to discuss collective trauma. So first of all, in this week's Pasha, we read about how Avram and Sarah traveled with a group of people. And there are different interpretations, one of which Rashi says in the Medrash is that there was a group of people that Avram and Sarah converted and brought them under the Kanfei HaShekhinah to be connected to a Kadosh Baruch Hu and living a life of Torah mitzvahs and a connection with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And it's interesting that we are referring to a group of people, but the pasuk says Ve'es hanefesh asher asu. It says nefesh. It says in a singular form the nefesh that Avram and Sarah made. And if it's referring to a group of people, I would assume that it should be written in plural sense, nefashot. So we can, in a way, we can interpret this, that if it's talking about a people that are now connecting with Kedusha, connecting with a Kadosh Baruch Hu, this is a connection both on their own personal level with their nefesh, but also with a connection to the nefesh of Am Yisrael. So when you are connected with a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you are connecting to this Kedusha, you are connected with the whole nation as a whole, in a united and unified sense, and therefore you are connected with the nefesh of Am Yisrael, the nefesh of Kedusha. So it can only be understood in a singular sense. You are connecting with this singular, united and unified entity, which is the nefesh of Am Yisrael, the nefesh of a connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and Kedusha, and therefore it can be understood why the pasuk writes nefesh asher asu. And if we relate this to the current situation, certainly we can understand how, and we can appreciate how we are experiencing this achdus, this nefesh, that the situation that we are currently in is a situation where the nefesh of Am Yisrael is suffering. The nefesh of Am Yisrael is going through a trauma. And this is why we can understand that the collective trauma that we are experiencing is both a symptom of the current trauma and the symptom of the suffering that we are experiencing, and also the natural response. It is also in a sense, the cure and the solution to the current situation. So collective trauma can be viewed it can be conceptualized in two ways, both as the symptom and also as the cure. So first of all, is the symptom, as we said. So this is a collective trauma. The reason why it is so easy for us to connect with our fellow Jew, to connect together as a nation, is because we are all experiencing the same trauma. We are all suffering the same experience, and therefore it's not just empathy; it is sympathy. We can understand, and it's not just a need or an ability to connect with other people. It is a natural response that we're connecting with each other because we all are suffering together. Our nefesh is suffering. We could say, because we are now connecting to each other through the collective trauma and the suffering that we're experiencing, as a natural byproduct of that, there is the connection with each other. There is a connection with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. There is a connection with Kedusha, and there is a connection with this entity of Am Yisrael, with this nefesh. And because of that, we therefore naturally now want to try and help each other. We naturally now want to try and grow together and get out of this together. So this is the post-traumatic growth. This is the development and the growth and the healthy response that comes out of the trauma, that we are both experiencing the suffering of together as a nation, but also in terms of the treatment and the cure and the response is to do this together, is to find a way to help our nefesh that is suffering and that is in trauma at this very moment. And this is the collective trauma and the collective post-traumatic growth that we are seeing. This is the achdus that we are seeing, both from the level of soldiers going to war and the level of conscription to the army, which is over 100% conscription, everyone wanting to try and fight together. And also we see in Eretz Yisrael and in Chutz La'aretz as well, everyone is suffering together, but everyone is responding together. Everyone is trying to find a way to respond to this collective trauma. And certainly in the literature, if we look at collective trauma, and I've referred to this in a previous post, collective trauma as a nation. If we look at the state of Israel, the literature relates to the fact that the birth of the state of Israel came out from suffering, whether it's from the Holocaust and the influx of citizens who came out of Europe because of the Holocaust and came into Eretz Israel and built up the country, or whether it's because the nation has developed under this cloud of war and of terror, whether it's the different wars that we have experienced up until now. And again, now the war that we're experiencing is a continuation of this, is a continuation of the national trauma that is part of the fabric, it's an integral and inherent part of our very existence on a national level, whether it's the state of Israel, and also on a level of Am Yisrael and our connection to each other and the connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are living through collective trauma. It's something which we can't ignore, we can't avoid. We can't ignore it and we can't avoid it because it is part of our existence. But we can find a way to embrace, acknowledge, and use this as a way to respond. And this is what we are seeing now, the achdus that we are seeing with the Am Yisrael at this very moment. And we need to take this and we need to try to process it, both in terms of our understanding of our current situation, the trauma and the suffering, but also to find meaning and optimism and a positive outlook from the situation, that we can grow and we can connect with each other and get out of this situation together as well, through this collective trauma and through this collective post-traumatic growth. So I wish you a good Shabbos and keep well.